All right, guys, and welcome back for another episode here at AHC Garage. Again, you got me over here, and we are working on what my girl has named Candy Girl. That's what she calls my car whenever I come in. I think it's kind of cute. But we are at the phase where we have a bunch of little things to finish up before we can turn the key on this and fire it up. So you've seen the progress that we've made with doing the AC system, the cooling system, the fuel system, the plumbing for the intercooler, and getting some of the dashboard back together. But on this one, we're trying to tie up all these loose ends, put fluid in the motor, fluid in the transmission, coolant in there, get Freon in this car, get the car ready to turnkey and start. That also involves us dealing with a whole mess of wiring. There's a ton of wiring. There's a ton of sanding we got to do to make sure that our grounds work, because we can't bolt directly to this fender, or I should say undercoat Raptor liner that we got on here. But we also have wiring as far as charge harness and grounds that we have to put in. So we have a whole bunch of stuff to do on this, and it will be jumping around a little bit, but the goal is to have this thing start, hopefully take it for a ride around the block if we can get it to run good enough before we get it tuned on the dyno. After this, it's going to be moving pretty quick because this is the main headache. The inside's going to go 1, 2, 3. So we're going to start off first by putting a new valve cover gasket on this test valve cover. The one that's supposed to be on the car isn't done at the powder coater yet, but for now this is going to work perfect for us. I'm just going to pull a couple of these lines off, and then we'll go ahead and pull the coil on plug. This thing's just loosely sitting here anyways, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Take a peek inside the motor and see what's going on inside there. Alright, so we put a new gasket set on here, and we're putting Honda Bond on the 4 corners. I should say the 8 corners. This is the last spark plug. They're iridiums, and they're a specific type of spark plug you have to run when you do a coil on plug conversion on the car. These are the ones that my tuner recommended, NGKs all the way. We got those all in, and we'll go ahead and put this coil on plug plate. Everything is a little dirty. I do apologize. And now we'll go ahead and throw our nuts on here. All this hardware will be swapped out at one point or another. Resto Tuner has a special package on the way for us, and they've been supporting us through this build for quite some time. Before I think we even started it, we had hardware and stuff from Resto Tuner. Now they've evolved their product to a different level, and we're hoping on an updated kit coming pretty soon to kind of dress up and clean up all this old hardware that's been sitting on the car in the body shop, outside. The car is not seeing the most amount of love. But
hey, I do want to address one thing, Sean.
Oh, what's that?
Brian's been saying right over there that his car be done before yours.
You know, I don't want to talk about it. Well, look at that. Some of the valve cover bolts just showed up. I just found them as we were talking. You want to know where they were? They were right on the wiper cowl with other Resto Tuner parts, such as a replacement wiper cowl plugs, all the good stuff. So their shipping is really fast, I'll tell you that. I got here in about 2 seconds. But let me go ahead and swap out these 4 corner bolts with some new cap nuts here, because I think these came off of Mike's all original 98 Type R. You know, they show a little age. We're using AMSOIL Special break-in oil, and their oil is formulated for startups. It has a high zinc content. This helps with seating the rings, and it also does not have, like it says right here, no friction modifiers, protects cams, seats the rings. That's the idea. We're going to do a startup and a couple of heat cycles on this, and I'm probably just going to drain it out after that. You can probably run it, but this car motor's been sitting for a long time. It's had a lot of things off of it, exposed elements. So I'm going to get that oil out. I have another 5 quarts of this that we can put in, and that'll do the break-in on with it. But for now, let's put this red, beautiful stuff in here and get her juiced up. All right, so now we're gonna fill the transmission. Oh, woo! This thing's pretty cool. This is from Astro Tools. Take a look at this, how thin this is. And it's a pass-through. And you can take these out and put it right on the ratchet. Mike just showed me this. The stuff you can find on Amazon is pretty impressive. I think I'm gonna order a set. Some Honda MTF to fill up this JDM GSR with the LSD. All right, so we put the coolant in. We're gonna have to bleed it and put the car through heat cycle and probably add more. It's slowly gurgling down into the cooling system, but that's a completely dry system, and the heater core is empty as well. So that's done. We're gonna move on to our charge harness and ground wire kit, and including our positive battery cable. We have a complete kit here from Run Hard Industries. We've been working with them for a little bit. They do awesome custom setups. We actually had him do this setup in a different way so that we can mount the factory battery with the Honda sticker facing us. So the battery now sits with the terminals facing, I think, towards the firewall. So it's a little bit different. He did that custom for us. So we have it here. It's the 4-gauge mil-spec wiring, and this has a special VTEC sleeving. So this one is one that he did custom for us. Doesn't really offer this sheathing to anybody, but we asked for a favor, and this matches the tuck harness that I have on the car. So we have 2 grounds here, transmission and the valve cover. We have our negative battery cable here, and we have our, what is this one here? This is our charge harness from the alternator to the fuse box, and this is our positive battery cable and starter power wire. Also, they come with the terminals and the boots. You can request it with or without the boot. I wanted the boots on it, and also the nice thing is it came with all brand new Honda part number ground screws. This is pretty awesome. We're gonna go ahead and slap it on the car. It's an important step to getting the car started. You need power and you need ground. All right, this is not the correct battery that we're going to be using on the car, but for now it's just something to help mock everything up. Now this goes here, this goes down onto the starter. All right, so we have our charge harness run. That worked out pretty good. I'll show you here in just a second. We ran that right here. It's all underneath the starter. We're gonna probably zip tie all these cables together in a way where they're not chafing on anything. Everything is set up there. Now what we have to start doing is running our engine harness, and then we have to sand down some of the areas here so we get a good ground wherever our grounds are gonna go. So first we're gonna start by just getting the harness in its spot and then move on to the other stuff.
Good.
All right, so we're installing the map sensor, and tricky thing about these superchargers is you can't pull your vacuum boost pressure off of the factory mounting point. So there's a few different ways to achieve this, but a good friend of mine made this, and I'll put the link down below on how to get one. But what this does is it blocks off the actual port on your throttle body and gives you a port right here so that you can take your boost reading from the manifold over here, which is after the supercharger. Because if you just took the reading here, you're not going to see what the actual boost is like you would on a turbocharger, because the boost would be going into your throttle body. So it relocates your boost reading to the manifold, which is after the supercharger is producing the boost, which is the proper way to do it so you can get the right reading. So he has this really awesome billet piece. He's been making some pretty neat stuff for these Jackson Racing kits, such as the bolts to mount the supercharger to the manifold, and he also is selling the coupler for the bypass valve right there, because those go bad and no one was really supplying one that's specifically for it. So that's an awesome thing. All right, so we went ahead and cleaned up our ground points on the chassis to assure that we have a proper ground. We did it on where our valve cover ground will go. We did it where our transmission ground will go, and we did it over here where the negative battery terminal ground will go. These are not all in the proper locations. They're just in the location that we choose. We used the Dremel right here to take off some of that. Milwaukee has this awesome little cordless Dremel. I love it. Works good for all of this. And now we're going to finish installing the Run Hard Industries ground kit. Boom, baby. We grounded. We had the whole fuel rail set up and everything done, but these injectors, they were not my first go-to on injectors. I was going to run a set of ID 1050 XCs, but the plug placement on them was at the bottom, and it was interfering with this Jackson manifold because this has a different kind of fuel injector mounting point on it. But these I got from TJ. I think they're about 880cc injectors. They're Decas. But he took them out of his hatch and put them on the shelf with E85, and they've been sitting for about 3 years. So in order to make sure we don't have any issues, I went ahead and got them cleaned. We'll show you little clips of what that is. It was just a quick process, but a local shop went ahead and took care of it for us. And now we know that they're flowing all evenly, and we're going to go ahead and reinstall them in the car. All right, so we got that in. I had to extend some of our injector harnesses, so they're numbered this, which is pretty nice because of this supercharger manifold is definitely not like anything Rywire intended this to go on when they made it. So I had to do some modifications to it, which is no big deal. We know how to do it the right way, so we made sure it came out nice. And we got 2 here. We got 2 more over here. All right, so we just had our new used part 134 line come in. After I ordered this on eBay, someone reached out to me on Instagram to say that it was their part that they sold me. It came off their 94 CX hatchback. So perfect, exactly what I need. All I gotta do is crank this in right here. All right, that's solid. I put a new O-ring on there. We're gonna go ahead and put our loop in here, and then we're going to close the AC system up and then get back onto the plumbing over there. Once we close the whole thing up, we're gonna put it on a vacuum and make sure we don't have any leaks. And if we do, we have to start addressing each leak one by one. All right, this is our last piece for the car. This is a used one, but it's in good condition. And I already got new O-ring on it right here. All this stuff can be cleaned up later, but for now, it's gonna work. So this has to go in from the bottom. Like so. Ooh, that fits together nice. Perfect. Over here I have one of the few lines I was able to find new. And that was this line, this line. All right, so here's the test. We're gonna put the vacuum on the system and see if it holds a vacuum. And then we might even put a small charge in there to see if it holds the charge. But since the car isn't running, we can't give it a full charge. So let's go ahead and hook it up and see how it goes. It's pulling vacuum. That is a great sign. I was doing some more looking around. In order to give the maximum amount of room to mount everything and run everything, I decided to go with a aftermarket bash bar or crash bar, if you will. This is a pretty simple, cheap one. It's from Jack Spania. I ordered it, got here pretty quick, and this should give us some more room underneath the bumper. Thing mounts up pretty simple in the factory location. So as you can see, it mounts in the factory location, and it gives us a lot more room. If I need to move the intercooler up higher, I have more room for that. You can also tuck the intercooler behind this if you want, but we don't want to go up too high because then it's not going to look right in the bumper. But this gives us more flexibility and room to run and do activities, which is what the goal is. I don't even think there's a weight savings between it. It's just a lot easier to use, and I don't feel comfortable not having a front crash bar on the car because these cars are tin cans anyway, so this will give us some strength, even though if anything hits the front of this, it's probably done anyways. All right, so we put a 10-minute vacuum on here. The system's been completely open and 90% brand new, so it could probably use more of a vacuum before it gets charged. But what the real reason what we were trying to do was to just make sure the system is sealed and holding a vacuum. So I'll put a small charge into the system, and we'll check that later when we go to start the car and charge the system properly and make sure nothing leaked out. So we can do that right now. Go to charge, low side, and we'll just put 0.25 kilograms in. All right, so we're going to be running the harness over here behind the intercooler. We have these nice zip ties that go into holes, and it should allow us to keep this pretty clean through here. Well, that's mounted significantly higher. I guess the only thing we got to see is if where the bumper comes on it, right?
Yeah. It looks a lot cleaner too.
It's a lot cleaner. I love this setup with the bar, and I can still do all my wiring here too, because I have more access.
Yeah, I guess we just gotta throw in the bumper and check out the clearance.
Yeah, do a test fit. So far, this is looking good. Looking very race car. The old bumper support, not very good looking, puppy.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
Okay, yeah, so I'm hitting a totally different spot now. So yeah, I just gotta.
Just that right there.
Yeah.
Well, you plan to cut that anyway.
Yeah. Cut that out. Oh yeah, that actually.
Yeah, it gets should clear up here better.
We're trimming up on the bumper right now, but we have a rough setup for the initial plumbing on here. I know I said I really wanted to run the plumbing through the fender, but it turned out that's not going to be great. If I have a failure inside there, I don't want it out hard to get to beneath the fender. I want to be able to get to it. So we routed it a lot like they do, LHT did in their videos. This is the first setup on it. We might be able to get rid of this loop by putting 180-degree fitting on here, but for now this is the way it's going to set up. I have it running right here, tied off on the valve cover, heading down past the dryer over here to the pump. We have the pump mounted with a rib nut right here, and we have everything routed right here into the heat exchanger in the front bumper. So right now I'm trimming the bumper to make sure it clears all of our lines and fits securely on the car, make sure none of this stuff rubs or chafes. Pretty excited because this actually worked out not so bad, and this new crash bar, bash bar here really helped with the whole situation. So now we're gonna start fitting the bumper.
Oh, it's almost nicer.
Ooh.
Oh, it's nice here.
I'm touching a little here. My concern is that I don't touch
the core.
Yeah, maybe I should trim a little more.
I'm good here.
Yeah, your side's good there. Let me look on the bottom. All right, so we got all the plumbing done on this. Like I said, I'm probably gonna grab a 180 fitting so we can eliminate this loop. We also got our catch can and coolant reservoir situation sorted with a really nice unit from Straight Line Motorsports. They're right out of Pompano. Shiva, he runs a really awesome fab shop and has a sport front wheel drive race car as well. Pretty cool setup. As you can see, this is the coolant reservoir. This is the port that's gonna connect to our overflow on the coil rad radiator. It's a 4-port breather. I'm only going to use 2, so we're going to cap 2 of these off. This is the little ball valve to drain out the reservoir once it gets full. We got our AC lines completely run. I broke this line when I was trying to bend it. Good thing it was $13 from Rock Auto, so that's no stress. We've got a lot of everything hooked up. We are still working on modifying a couple wires on the harness due to the supercharger. Not everything really lines up with the tuck harness that we have, so there's a few sensors I've been having to extend. No big deal. We're soldering those, crimping and soldering. But even with the Run Hard Industries charge harness on, I think everything's hooked up. I don't have much interior, but I think it might be time to see if the engine turns over. Let's give it a shot and see. The car isn't totally together, so we're using a screwdriver to start the car.
Oh, we good. We got signal on the distributor.
All right, let's see if she cranks over. That sounds pretty good. It's the first time this engine's cranked over since before we pulled it out of the car. I'm a little bit excited about that. Now we're going to go ahead and continue to fix some of our wiring, put some new gas in here, upload the base map from Durf Tuned, and try and get this thing to crank up. We also have to set our timing on the DigiDizzy distributor, and we'll show you how we do all that as well. All right, so we're going to try and start this with some carb cleaner. Let's see how it goes. Go ahead. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think about that, Mike?
Should start all right.
Oh yeah, look at that. I think we blew the crap out of the cylinders.
Hey, I'm the first to start your car. How do you feel about that?
I'm very honored. But let me shake your hand, sir. Put it there.
Key. Here you go, sir.
We did our first little fire up on some carb cleaner, and she cranked right up. We haven't even set our timing on the DigiDizzy. Our fuel system is not hooked up. The base map is not loaded, but that didn't stop this baby from firing straight up. Now that it turned over, the oil filter filled up with oil. We went ahead and checked it. It was a little low. We have our coil rad radiator cap. Beautiful.
So we got TJ joining us today, and he's going to help us upload the base map. Let's go ahead and use our key, a snap-on key here, to turn on the vehicle. Fuel pump turned on. They should be good there.
Yep, uploaded.
Already?
Yeah, so S300 is really fast. Flash Pro, not so much.
Yeah, your car took like, what, like 7-8 minutes?
Oh yeah, this takes 2 seconds.
Dude, literally 2 seconds. I just literally turned off the camera and then you're like, dude, it's done. All right, guys, so first try here.
You're gonna have to adjust it if it's running.
Yeah. No. Why? Not at all. Why? It's actually loose. It's barely tightening. That you could think from there. Yeah. It's not. Yeah.
Well, Mike, turn it off and then just turn
Yeah, let's see.
You're going whatever way you were going.
There?
A little bit more.
How about that?
Okay, we're at 0.48. I like that.
All right, so it's running pretty good. Definitely base map and not ready to drive it on the road, but we're going to be able to heat cycle it and check everything out and get it ready. One step closer. So as you can see, she starts right up on the first try, and that's a big step for us here. It's a goal we've been trying to accomplish for a little bit. We still got a bunch to do. As you can see, it's barely a complete car, but now the engine runs, and we'll show you what we got going on up there. In order to get this started up, first we started by setting our DigiDizzy to TDC. We used a video that they had on their IG page to do it. It's a very simple setup. Then we had to fix our fuel regulator system because I had it plumbed wrong. Once we got that done, we were able to turn the fuel pressure up, which you can see it's holding some pressure right now. We upload the base map. That's all working. We calibrated our TP sensor. We also cycled the fan, but we found out that it's wired backwards, so we got to switch our pin on the fan to make sure that the air is flowing the right way. We have our Burton Racing fan relay kit and harness installed. Still have our Burton Racing fuel pump harness and relay we have to install. And we still have a bunch more on the cooling system for the intercooler that we have to plumb in. And also I found that there's 2 holes in the manifold right here that I need to find some plugs for. That, like I said, that, and when the catch can, we have to make our hoses for the catch can. I'm a little excited. It's hard to focus. Finally got the car started after totally rebuilding the entire car. Very, very happy. The fan cycled, it heat cycled. This thing's ready to get broken in. It's ready to shortly go to the dyno after we square everything else away and make sure everything works. You don't want to go to the dyno without your car completely sorted, because then you waste everyone's time. But I have to say we made a huge step, and now everything from here should be simple. We're pretty much going to be coming up to the end of this video, but I want to show you some of the stuff that we were able to knock out. A little bit of it happened off camera, but here is the engine bay, and it's pretty complete. There's a few little things we're going to change, like a battery tie down, organize the wiring a little bit, and a few plugs here and there. But for the most part, this is the complete engine bay. We went ahead and made our breather catch can lines. This is push lock fittings. I use this silicone wrap on here. We use some heat shrink on it, so it gives a nice look. Some of these pipe holders into our Straight Line Motorsports catch can and coolant reservoir. We still have to get our fitting on here to hook up to the overflow. We got our Digi-Dizzy adjusted and working. We also have this HKS intake. It's not necessarily a cold air. If you see the way it goes, it comes down and it goes into a box that sits down in the fender well, and that's actually where it draws the air from. But that all came together really good. The AC system is complete. We still have to wire up the pump for the intercooler circulation, but other than that, the car is pretty ready mechanically. Now we have to continue to do the inside. We started this car with 0 dashboard in the car and a screwdriver, so there's a lot more to do there, a little bit to do under the hood. The progress we made has been substantial. I think we're gonna achieve this goal of getting this car up to the mountains this year, and definitely a ton of progress was made on this video. We have a lot more coming on the next one. This is going to be putting the lipstick on her. We're going to be putting the dashboard in. I got some aftermarket carpet for the inside that we're going to trim to fit so that the front section of the car looks good. We're going to have to do all of our wiring, our fuel pump relay. We have our fan relay here. A bunch of little things get us to the step where we can drive the car on the road, tune in the suspension, and then get it to the dyno, and then put a bunch of miles on it before we drive it up to the mountains. But there's, like I said, tons to see, lots to for us to do, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the progress on it. This has been a labor of love so far, and there'll be a lot more to see coming up, so make sure that you follow, you subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment, tell me what you think about what I got going on here. I tried to keep it as uncluttered as possible, but still tackle everything that we needed. But that's all for this one, and make sure you catch us on the next one.